Day 3. 10 down, 20 to go. Yesterday was day 2. Marlins through athletics. The Cardinals rotation, the Rays analytics ceiling, Sacramento closing it out at rank 21.
5 teams. 5 different versions of the same question, which is whether your roster is built right. Today is a new day, and number 20 belongs to a franchise that made the biggest pitching commitment in their history.
The Arizona Diamondbacks. Rank 20. Thesis: the Burnes gamble. 80 wins in 2025. Missed the playoffs. 79 projected for 2026. The question is not whether Corbin Burnes is great. The question is whether one great pitcher is enough to change everything. Day 3 starts here.
Quay Loque, day 3, broder, and we are finally in the desert, Arizona, the Diamondbacks. And I have to tell you, I have been waiting for this one because this team fascinates me. They went and got one of the best pitchers on the planet. They went all in, and then they went 80 and 82. So either something went wrong or the plan just started.
I'm going to say this right up front. Corbin Burnes is a borderline generational pitcher. Cy Young, elite spin, elite command. When you sign a guy like that, you do not need extra justification. That is the justification. Arizona made a bold move, and I respect bold moves. The only question is whether they built the right team around him, and I have some concerns.
The Burnes contract reshapes Arizona's financial structure for the next several seasons. That is the opportunity cost the model accounts for. They committed premium resources to one starting pitcher. The on-field return in 2025 was an 80 and 82 record and no postseason. The math requires an explanation that goes beyond Burnes himself.
Here is what I see. You got Burnes at the top. You got Corbin Carroll in right field, 24 years old, supposed to be the face of that franchise. You got Ketel Marte at second base, one of the best pure hitters in the National League. You have pieces, but 80 and 82 tells me the pitching behind Burnes is not where it needs to be, and the lineup has real holes.
That is the problem, kid. You cannot go get the ace and leave the rest of the menu at the dollar store. I love Burnes. I love what he does every 5th day. But look behind him. Gallen is good. Fat is young, and after that, that is where this thing starts to shake. You need a real 2 and a 3 to make an ace into a championship rotation.
Zach Gallen posted a 3.47 ERA last season with an 11.2 strikeout rate per 9. He is a genuine number 2. Brandon Pifot showed real development. The concern the model flags is depth below those two. Back-end rotation innings are the analytical weakness. Burnes cannot pitch every game.
And then they went and got Nolan Arenado. Broder. When I saw that deal go through, I said, okay, Arizona is serious now. Arenado at third base with Carroll in right and Marte at second. That is a National League lineup that can actually score. So then, why are we talking about them at rank 20? That is the question I need answered today.
Arenado? I will tell you something about Arenado. When I was catching, the guys I worried about most were not the big swingers. It was the contact guys with power who worked counts and did not expand the zone. Arenado is exactly that profile. Still one of the best at third in baseball. The glove is still generational. This is not a nostalgia move. This is a real upgrade.
Arenado's offensive metrics showed decline in 2025. OPS plus of 104 against a career average of 122. The defensive value remains exceptional, first at third base in outs above average last season. The model's concern is whether Arizona acquired the 2022 version or the 2026 version. Those are different players with different projections.
Okay, but even the 2025 version of Arenado is better than most third basemen in this league. And Sully, they got Burnes and Arenado in the same window. That is not a rebuilding franchise. That is a franchise that wants to win right now. I believe in right now. My concern is left field, because Lourdes Gurriel went down in September, and that ACL is no joke.
Lourdes is a real problem. ACL in September. And now you're walking into 2026 with a question mark in left. That is not a small thing. That is your lineup losing protection in the middle of the order right when you need it most. Burnes is fine as a stopgap, but he is not lured. That injury is near the top of my concern list for this team.
Can we talk about Ketel Marte for a second? Because broader, Ketel Marte is one of my favorite players in this league, and I do not think he gets enough respect outside of Arizona. Switch hitter, great walk rate, makes contact at an elite level. He is the engine of that lineup. I want to hear what you both actually think about him. Be honest.
Marty is fine. He is solid. He does the job, good bat. But he is not the guy you are building around, you know what I mean? You have Burnes and Carroll as your two marquee names. Marte is the guy who helps those guys. A good piece. Not the centerpiece. I do not want to oversell what he is.
Fine, you said fine. Ketel Marte had a 122 OPS plus last season, led Arizona in WAR among all position players, and you're calling him fine. That is going on the list. Entry 11, Marte is going on the list. Sully, I am writing it down right now.
How many names are on this list? Are we still doing the list? I thought the list was for something specific. What did I actually say wrong about Marte?
11 names. Sully, 11. And I keep building this thing every single episode. My Tio Ramon always said, the man who cannot see greatness right in front of him has been looking the wrong way for too long. That is you. That is exactly you right now with Ketel Marte.
Your Tio Ramon said that about Ketel Marte. That is not a real saying. I refuse to believe that is a real saying that a man said about a second baseman.
Corbin Burnes last season, 2.89 ERA, 12 strikeouts per 9. His cutter generated a 37% chase rate. He is the most complete pitcher in the National League West. The model ranks him top 5 in baseball in projected value for 2026. On Burnes himself, I have no uncertainty whatsoever. He is not the problem.
That is what a real ace does for you. You go to sleep at night knowing every 5th day you're getting a chance to win the game. There are 29 franchises that would take Burnes in a heartbeat. Arizona made the right call getting him. What they have to figure out is how to build the right team around him before his peak passes them by.
Eduardo Rodriguez is interesting to me. He had that one rough year, and then he went back to the DR and he came back right. Sometimes a guy needs to go home, you know? Go back to where the game felt simple. I think Erod gives them a real 4 slot, not an ace, but a pitcher who knows how to compete every time out.
Rodriguez's velocity metrics returned to his pre-injury baseline in the second half of 2025. Curveball depth improved. Command is still inconsistent, but the raw stuff is back. A healthy Eduardo Rodriguez in that 4 slot behind Burnes and Gallen is a genuine asset. The rotation question is Kelly and depth below him, not the top 3. One number that explains this entire team: Burnes received 3.1 runs of support per start last season. The National League average was 4.4. In games Burnes started and allowed 2 or fewer earned runs, Arizona went 12-9. In starts where they scored fewer than 3 runs for him, they went 3-14. The lineup is the variable here.
3.1. I was telling Jimmy at the bar just last week, I said, Burnes deserves better than this. He is out there every 5th day putting up zeros, and his guys cannot get him 2 runs in the 4th inning. That is why the Arenado move matters so much. You need run producers or the ace counts for nothing.
3.1 runs per start is criminal, broader. You have the best pitcher in your division and your offense is giving him 3 runs. No wonder they went 80-82. That number has to change in 2026. Arenado has to change it. Lawler showing up healthy has to change it. Because Burnes is doing everything right and still getting no help.
Jordan Lawler. This is Arizona's most important developmental decision. AAA numbers in 2025 were exceptional. 351 average, 12 home runs, 30 stolen base attempts. The concern is the injury history that delayed his development by nearly a full season. If Lawler arrives healthy and holds the shortstop job, the model's offensive projection for Arizona increases by approximately 4 wins.
4 wins. That is the difference between a wild card team and a nothing-burger season right there. And I will tell you something about Lawler from a pure eye test standpoint. You could tell the guys who are ready. He is ready. He has been ready. Get him on that field at shortstop, and that lineup gets better immediately. Perdomo is a solid player, but Lawler has got a different ceiling.
Lawler at short changes the whole conversation. Carolyn right, Marte at second, Arenado at third. Lawler at short. That is a lineup with teeth. That is a lineup that scores 4.5 runs per Burnes start instead of 3.1. I'm all in on this team if Lawler is healthy. All in.
Speaking of shortstops, I have been thinking about my lineup and I'm getting close on a pick. Not today. But I will say this much. There is one shortstop in the history of this game who makes every other choice look smaller by comparison. I'm narrowing it down. The announcement is coming.
Sully. Broader. How long does it take to pick a shortstop? My Tio Ramon could name his all-time shortstop right now without putting down his dominoes, and he is in his 70s and has been watching ball since before we were born.
Tell your Tio Ramon that my process is not a dominoes game. I will make the pick when it is ready.
I want to say something before I give the win total. Something I have not said clearly in this series. The model has Arizona at 79 wins, but I am less certain of that number than I have been of any projection in the first 10 episodes. I want to be transparent about that.
Wait, say that again. Did you just say you're less certain? In 10 episodes you have never said that once. You always say the algorithm is clear. The data suggests. Now you're hedging. What is happening right now, Kenji?
Arizona is an ace-dependent team with a volatile lineup projection. If Lawler arrives healthy, the number climbs. If Gurriel does not return to form, it drops. If Burnes misses starts for any reason, the floor falls to somewhere around 68 wins. The model does not handle that range of variance cleanly. 79 is the central estimate, but the confidence interval is wider than any team I have ranked so far in this series.
So you're saying I do not really know. That is what this is. After 10 straight episodes of the algorithm is clear and the data suggests, you're standing here in episode 11 saying it is actually complicated. You have been holding out on us.
I am saying the model's output is 79. I am also saying that Arizona's realistic range of outcomes is 12 wins wider than the average team in this series. That is not a failure of the model. That is information the model is producing. There is a meaningful difference between uncertainty and error.
Quick bet check. Sully, Arizona is NL West. The Royals are in the AL Central. How are you feeling about this situation?
The Royals are fine. The bet is fine. Arizona does not face Kansas City enough times to matter for anything we agreed on. I'm completely comfortable. Let us do predictions.
Sleeper check. Arizona is NL West, which is where the Dodgers and Padres live. That division does not touch my Reds in any direct way. My sleeper stands exactly where it stood yesterday. Kenji, does Arizona mess with your Mariners at all?
Different league, different division. The indirect effect is negligible. If Arizona pushes the Dodgers or Padres into spending more resources in the NL West, that has ripple effects on National League wildcard positioning. But for my Mariners specifically, Arizona is irrelevant. Sleeper remains unchanged.
Arizona Diamondbacks, 2026, I'm going 83 wins. I think Lawler breaks camp with the big club and locks down short. I think the Arenado addition fixes the run support problem for Burnes. I think Erod bounces back and gives them a real 4. This team has more upside than 79, and I'm willing to say it out loud. 83.
I'm going 81. Burnes wins 18. Gallen is his usual self, and this lineup scores enough to give them a real chance. The depth behind Gallen worries me, and I'm not ready to go higher than 81 until I see what Lawler actually looks like against Major League pitching for a full season. 81 wins. Fringe wildcard.
The model says 79. I have said I am less certain of it than any number I have given in this series. I am not changing the number. But if Lawler stays healthy all year, 79 becomes 83 in a realistic scenario. Arizona is a binary team. High ceiling. Real floor. 79 is the middle, and I'm watching this one closely all season.
Arizona Diamondbacks, ranked 20. They went all in on Corbin Burnes. Now they are all the way in with Arenado too. Day 3 is open, 9 more teams, and we are halfway up the ladder. Kilo K. Broder,